The 7-mile-long Paignton Dartmouth Steam Railway meanders around rocky headlands and rolling farmland. The line has operated continuously since opening in 1950 and was taken over by the British Railway Society in 1972. The Holiday Line, as it's called, runs from the picturesque fishing port of Dartmouth to the bustling holiday resort at Paignton, in the very heart of England's Tor Bay, known as the English Riviera. The mighty coal-burning Great Western locomotive, number 7827, named Lydham Manor, was constructed in 1950. The train station is actually in Kingswear, a short ferry boat ride across the River Dart on the western shore. But first, let's tour Dartmouth and the Bay Area. The wide sweep of the River Dart, with its deep central channel, has been a natural port for many centuries. In 1147, 164 ships sailed from Dartmouth on the Second Crusade. During the Middle Ages, the export of wool and grain to the Atlantic seaboard provided the port with good trade. Today, the port no longer exists as a trade center. Instead of tall ships from the days of old, pleasure boats cruise in the safe waters at the river's mouth. The most prominent wharf along the riverfront is called Bayard's Cove. We arrive at the central point of the quay, where small boats are harbored against storms, and what is known as the boat float. At the end of the wharf is Bears Cove Castle, built by Henry VIII. Most of the old port was built in the 16th century. Duke Street has perhaps the most famous group of Dartmouth houses. This part of the street is called the Butter Walk. Dating from 1640, the wood and stone carvings on the building fronts are typical of Dartmouth from this period, primitive and strong. Dartmouth has always been used as a naval port. The Royal Naval College, built in 1905, was designed by Sir Aston Webb, the architect responsible for the Victoria and Albert Museum and the Admiralty Arch in London. Many famous people, including members of the royal family, have attended the college throughout its long history. It's been Britain's main naval training center since 1905. On the quayside, riverboat companies capitalize on the area's fastest growing industry, tourism. To cater to all of the tourists, a variety of river cruises and excursions can be taken from Dartmouth. It's a relaxing way to enjoy the scenery. On many river cruises, tourists can catch a brief glimpse of the late Agatha Christie's home. A train whistle echoing across the river signals it's time to board the ferry to Kingswear. Next, the French lieutenant's woman, the Oneida Line, General Eisenhower, and high arches when railway adventures continues. At Dartmouth, the train tracks never crossed the river from Kingswear, but a station was built. Today it serves as a restaurant next to the ferry landing. Dartmouth and the surrounding area have been widely used by the film industry. Bayard's Cove was transformed into Liverpool docks for the film The Oneida Line. And this area at Kingswear Station was a featured location in the French Lieutenant's Woman. On our return trip, the locomotive is coupled backwards, since there is no turntable at the station. Here at the station, the Lydham Manor locomotive goes to the head of the train for our adventure to Paignton. Since the tracks have no turnaround, it's necessary to run the engines forward and backward between points. On the first leg of the journey, the train runs along the river, then turns inland towards Churston. Just less than a mile upstream from Kingswear, a car ferry crosses the river guided by two steel cables. The cables are anchored at either shore. In 1832, when the service was originally introduced, it was powered by a steam engine. Unlike the preservation efforts for the Paignton Dartmouth Steam Railway, modernization has somewhat affected this mode of transport. This rail crossing, known as Britannia Halt, has a manned signal box to control movements between itself and Kingswear. Turning inland, the train begins the long climb towards Churston. The fireman shovels coal to keep up the steam for the climb. In Britain, bridges are referred to as viaducts. Like the one we're about to cross, many have high-spanning arches that were engineering achievements of their time. The train crosses a bridge called the Maypool Viaduct, similar in construction to many of the viaducts we'll cross on the railway. Then we come to the nearly 500-yard-long Greenway Tunnel. During World War II, this tunnel protected General Eisenhower's special train. From Kingswear to Churston, the gradients vary from 1 to 1.5%, a fairly easy climb for this vintage locomotive. The higher the percentage, the steeper the climb. For many trains, a grade steeper than 1.5 is considered rigorous. Churston was once the junction for the branch line that served the busy fishing port of Brixham. Today, it serves as the passing place when two trains are operated simultaneously. From Churston, the trains cross high bridges and cliff tops. Then the line wanders down toward Goodrington Sands. The sight of a 1950s steam train in today's space age is almost like we've stepped back in time, if only for 7 miles. Stay with us for the English Riviera on Railway Adventures. From Churston, the holiday line heads to the heart of the English Riviera, Tor Bay, and the town of Goodrington Sands. As the train descends to the bay, the wide views of the shoreline open up. Long ago, these beaches and coves on the English Channel were a haven for pirates and smugglers. Today, it's tourists that arrive by train and ship. Goodrington Sands is a very popular beach resort in Great Britain. Villas in the older part of town were once homes for 19th century naval officers and their families. Today's families visit to escape England's busy cities and enjoy the beautiful beaches. Visitors can choose the waters of the Gulf Stream or some man-made fun. Here you'll find the largest water slides in Britain. Next to the beaches, the boating pool in Goodrington Park provides a chance for relaxation at a gentler pace. The final stretch of the journey is a short run from Goodrington just north to Paignton Station, the railway's headquarters. The Holiday Line has provided regular train service to the area for many years. Residents and frequent visitors consider the Paignton and Dartmouth Steam Railway as much a part of the landscape as the beaches. Pulling into the Paignton Station, holidaymakers, or vacationers as they are called on the other side of the Atlantic, eagerly board the train for a unique experience or disembark for the start of their holiday. Paignton is the quintessential British resort. Hotels line a promenade, looking out over miles of sandy beaches on Tor Bay. Welcome to the English Riviera. The harbor was once the home of a fishing fleet. Today, pleasure boats fill it. Along the promenade, families relax in the balmy climate. In this part of Britain, tropical trees and flowers grow. Over a century ago, palm trees were brought in and planted from Australia. This nostalgic summer resort offers all the amenities: recreational activities, shops, refreshments, restaurants, and cafes. Gardeners tend to the many acres of lush park lining the seafront. For some people, this is more than a resort. Some call it home. Speaking of home, wait till you see the Singer's Sewing Machine Mansion and the Palace Avenue Theater next. In Paignton, the Old Way Mansion stands on 17 acres of land. It's known as a miniature Versailles and was once home of the Singer family, inventors and manufacturers of the famous sewing machines. The interior features a grand staircase beneath vaulted ceilings painted in the Italian style. The town of Paignton is well connected to the theater world. The Palace Avenue Theater in the center of town has been the starting ground for many now world-famous actors and artists. Here is where they took their first steps to stardom. Next to the Paignton Dartmouth Steam Railway station stands the British rail link to the rest of the United Kingdom. These high-speed trains bring visitors from all parts of the country to this beautiful 22 miles of coastline. The Paignton Dartmouth Railway is also home to the Tor Bay Cinema, the oldest in Western Europe, built specifically for feature films. To assist with the smooth running of the steam railway, a computerized ticket system is now in place. Inside the station, a large mural depicts scenes from the railway. In the station, there's also a well-stocked gift shop.
Our special guest. The next train, Kingswear, will be 2:30. Calling a good English sentence, just Kingswear, or Dartmouth.
And the Holiday Line recently introduced a new luxury train called the Riviera Belle. Passengers can wine and dine while they ride in luxurious comfort. At the Paignton station, the Lydham Manor locomotive slowly chugs toward coupling the passenger cars. Repeating its age-old routine, the train departs again for Kingswear. Since there isn't a way to turn the engine around, the return trip is made with the locomotive connected backward for the 7-mile journey to Dartmouth. Once back at Dartmouth, visit Baymard's Quay, where the Mayflower docked before setting sail on its historic adventure to America. Pulling or sometimes pushing, the train crosses the spectacular Hook Hills and Broad Sands viaducts. Our railway adventure has come to a close on the Paignton and Dartmouth Steam Railway.